Hello, friends. This is Doug Zink, and this is episode 3 of the Construction School of Life podcast. I sat down this morning with 4 of the guys that will be helping me this fall with Camper Camp, and I think it's a great example of what great guys these are and how valuable it will be for some of the local high school kids who are interested in construction coming out for this fall's program, and I think it'll be great to spend some time with these guys. I sat down with Riley, Nico, Tristan, and Cody, and I think you guys will enjoy this episode. I'll start today just by saying this is really cool. Not only that you guys have been in the trade and kind of put a lie to the whole thing of there's no people that are worth a damn in the trades. And not only that you guys are interested in working with the younger guys. And I know that there's a lot of young guys out there too that will benefit a lot, both from spending time with you guys and other people like you and getting into the trades. So that's really exciting for me. I'm fighting some people's pessimism about this whole thing.
There's always going to be haters.
Yes. Or envy. Expressing it in their own way.
Yeah, interesting. So I prompted you guys with something, and I wanted to see if you all had thought much about, which was what are the ideals of this business and being in this business?
Persistence. Yeah, not having to quit when you fail to get back up and not fail again.
To learn from it. Curiosity. Like, you want to know what's going on. If you don't, you're probably going to fall out pretty quick.
Yeah. Curiosity is great. I think that's probably why I got so interested in the first place. For wanting to know what's happening. You know, when you first start and you just soak everything in.
Absolutely. And I told you guys I talked with Martha Rogers last week, and we talked about particularly renovation, where you're always running into new things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, especially on the electrical side of things, because even like lighting is changing so quickly, even since I've been started as an electrician. Yeah, the shift to LEDs. It seems like LEDs change like every 2 or 3 years.
Multiple generations of the same product is crazy.
Well, there's some people say that as a negative of there's too much, or there's always changing and things get obsolete. But it's kind of cool, the innovation too, right?
Yeah. Find a better way to do something.
Uh-huh.
I look about plywood, like a zip system. The evolution right there, that's revolutionized the way we build. It went from diag, sheathing to Celotex to plywood and now to zip. Yeah, it's drastic. No tie back. Yeah, no 30-pound felt. I think the changes in carpentry are less often than electrical for you guys. Yeah, the code often doesn't change every week. Yeah.
That's true.
It does change though, right?
Yeah.
Gets thicker, the book.
I just ignore it and build how I know how to build.
Well, no, that's a funny one that you mentioned, because Chris and I ran into that. We stopped buying new code books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as it got thicker, we couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And we found that the inspectors each had their own things that they looked at.
Yep.
And so you would just have to deal with each inspector as they came.
Yeah. They'll tell you. It's like everybody's individual interpretation of the Bible.
Yeah.
Depending on what inspector you get, you never know. Unfortunately, Cindy's no longer with us. Yeah.
She was tough, right?
She was very tough. But she was tough, but I think she was probably the best one to have. She was the most knowledgeable. Yeah.
She was the most knowledgeable. And I got to say, whenever she would fail us on something, I'd say, yeah, that's true. That's right. Unlike some.
Yeah, it was never a small thing with her.
What do you mean?
Like, it was something where you thought about it and you're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Should have done that. It didn't seem like it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Some of the things they fail you on now, you're like, all right.
I know. I actually had a city inspector, who I won't say his name, say, I know this doesn't make sense, but this is all reduce.
I'm already get my name on it. You have to do this.
And that was very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Authority having jurisdiction, the power,
Yeah.
the books.
Yeah. Well, I think that goes back to one of those ideals or values, is the flexibility, which I think is a weird paradox, because to do things well, you have to be pretty, what is that? Structured.
Yeah.
And not lower your standards. But once you get above those standards, there's so many options.
Yeah, you can't be stuck in your ways on everything. Yeah. There's always room for improvement on things.
Yes.
And different ways to do it. I mean, we run into it. Probably I run into it all the time. Like, we both know how to build it, but we'll have slightly different ways, and sometimes they're exactly the same way, but there's just different routes of getting there. But it's the same product at the end.
Yeah. That's one of the principles I've written down, is there's sort of an ideal outcome, but all of the different ways of getting there are as varied as us around the table or all the other people doing it.
Yeah. It just depends on what your brain's like. Some people have different pathways in their brain, they think differently.
Right.
You're going to achieve the same product.
Yeah. And some people are math people, some people are English people.
Yep. Math brain, history brain. Can't have both.
Yeah. So what else? What did you all think of? Any other, what I'm calling ideals?
It's integrity. I mean, for most people, electricians, mechanics, carpenters, they're completely ignorant to the process. They're hiring a professional to come in and do something that they're not going to check on. They're going to go climb under their car and say, did you really put the new starter in, or did you just charge me for it? So, I mean, you're kind of doing like invisible work in a sense. I mean, it'll show off eventually if you keep doing that, but I feel like you're in situations where you're in people's attics or like the dark corner of their house, and like they need to trust you. So like, that's
not cut corners.
Yeah, you're gonna sit on TikTok in the corner because you're, a 19-year-old kid and you're not locked into what you're doing. I don't know. I feel like that's an important thing as well. Curious, integral. What are you guys?
Trustworthy.
Yeah. That's really right. Yeah. So I've, for all these years, talked about the top 5 complaints at cocktail parties. And that's sort of a negative view of, what goes wrong. But I switched it around in my mind to say what the ideals were. And it's funny, Martha listed them off before I brought them up last week. But it's doing what you say you're going to do, or to put it in a negative way, not showing up, not returning a phone call. Of course, workmanship, quality of work, cleanliness, not leaving a mess.
Just caring what you're doing, pretty much, is what it boils down to. If you care about what you do, and you're curious, I think everything kind of falls into place from there.
I think it does, yeah.
Yeah.
Long-term thinking.
Yeah.
Because we've heard those sayings that people use on some job sites.
Right?
It's the 7 Ps.
What is that?
Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
I grew up kind of limited to the "I can't see it from my house" saying, but they've expanded that. Of what is it? It's like sort of like if I screw it up, that's job security or death.
Right. Yeah, doing it twice. Job security. God, there's nothing I hate more than having to do it twice.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. And the other thing for us has always been we like to go back and have repeat clients.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that. Well, there's two sides of that. One is if they feel like what you did is held up, they're going to invite you back.
Yeah.
And when I go back and I see something that didn't work, it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to use that material again.
Yeah.
Or I don't ever do it that way again.
Why didn't this work?
Why didn't this work?
It's so frustrating going back looking at something that you've like already put a lot of like mental stimulus into, and you're staring at it and you're like, why did I do that? And then you go back again, you're like, oh my God, it is so you're different, better this time.
Well, I mean, with what we do, we hardly ever build the same thing twice. I can think of like 5 or 6 instances where I build something that's basically the same as something before.
Yeah, that's like a rough opening.
Yeah.
Like you build a bunch of them, but you never really build the same house twice.
No.
In what we do. You do the same thing twice. We don't build cookie cutter.
So there's so much to remember of like, in this instance, this was the right move. This wasn't.
Right. That'd be an ideal right there then. Remembering.
Yeah.
Remembering the fixes that you made.
To not do that again.
The solutions that you found just in a random moment at work. And then remembering to apply that in the future when you come across that obscure problem that you might not see again for a few years.
You should bottle that and sell it to people.
Yeah. So rich. You know, it's like when you save some of the scrap materials that nobody wants and you put it in your shed for 10 years and then you pull it out and you finally use it. Yeah, the feeling of using that piece of material that you purposely saved 10 years is incredible.
When you measure something,
It's like, I knew I was going to need this. Yeah.
I need this board to be, 6 inches or something. You're like, oh, I set that board 6 inches in this spot in the basement somewhere.
Yeah, where do I put it?
Seriously.
I'm sitting on a windowsill.
Yeah. Well, that's that accumulated knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I mean, Tristan and Cody work together a lot, and then you, Riley, and Nico work together a lot. How many times do you have that conversation of, well, we did this on this job, and we did that on this job, and we did this on that third job, and we can combine all three of those into this current situation?
With us, it's usually not really talked about. It's more of we both think about how we would do it, and then we tell each other. Then it kind of like, the ideas mix, or we're like, oh, your idea was better. So it's more of like a bounce off of previous experiences between the two of us.
It's a great way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to work for us.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like, nope. Yeah. That's not their way. And I'm like, oh man, you're right. I don't know why I was thinking about it like that.
I was just pissed and this guy would cut me off and I just can't stop thinking about him.
It's great to have somebody to check you, though.
Oh,
to bounce ideas off of.
yeah.
Yeah, there's that collaborative aspect of things.
Yeah, it's like the SEALs, you always got a swim buddy.
Yeah.
So if you mess up, somebody's there to get you back,
Absolutely.
especially when you invite them in too. Folks will come save you a little quicker than sit there watching you drown because you're arrogant.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to let them swallow some gulps first before I go get it.
Man, you cut all 30 of those boards, huh? Wow. Fuck. Hey, carpentry is interesting because you guys have some kind of tolerance, whether it's a 16, 30 second where you're getting within a window of something, making a unique structure. Where to like the untrained eye is perfectly geometric to me, but you guys know like that corner over there is, 1/32 or whatever your number is.
It'll drive me crazy the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to build something for yourself all the time. That way you can get all of your corner cutting done on your own house. And then you go to work and you do it. Say one of our company mottos that we started thinking about at the very beginning was, we strive for perfection and settle for excellence. Because perfection is not achievable.
It's really not, is it?
No matter how good you do something, there's always some small mistake in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's, to me, one of the most interesting things is the decision of, is it good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta learn what your tolerance is, and I think that's what separates like the echelons of builders. In all fields, it's like you have the people that are going to go do work at Penn Park, and then you have the people that are going to do work at Dunlora, and then you have the people that are going to do work in Glenmore, and then you got the people that are going to do work in Farmington and Ivy Creek, and those people don't usually commingle.
They really don't, do they?
Like the guys that do work in Farmington are not doing work in Penn Park because they're at the top tier, and their tolerances are finer.
Yeah, I had a client put it in terms of percentages. He said to me, "You're 90% plus." I said, "Yeah." He said, "And you're just fine with that, aren't you?" I was like, "Yep, that's a high standard."
I think so.
And he kept hiring us back because he liked that. And then the question that has come in my mind is, okay, do I want to be at 95%? Do I want to be at 98%?
Yeah. I mean, that's a high stress level. Yeah. I think that's like how much stress do you want to bring home? Because you start trying to achieve 98, 99%. Perfection. That's when you go to sleep at night and you're just rolling around because you're thinking about that cut you made and you're like, oh man, should I fix it first thing in the morning or should I just let it be?
Or logistics, I gotta get the material, I gotta get the XYZ.
You're online trying to solve a problem that hasn't popped up yet just so you can handle it when it does pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those, for me, it's like a back and forth. Oh, I feel like I'm too low on my standards, so I got to raise them.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm worrying about it too much.
It's a pendulum.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like, would this affect anything else? If it's something like minor, like would this affect anything else moving forward? Or no, if the answer is no, then you're good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Or if it affects anybody else on the line, it's like if my wall is a 16th out of plumb in 9 feet, is that going to hurt the drywaller? No. Is it going to hurt the painter? No. The electrician? No. The duct banger? No.
But if it's a half inch out,
But if it's a half inch out,
or it's at the doors,
you're screwed. And the trim guy's screwed because, you're trying to set a door in unplumbed pocket. So the 16th isn't going to hurt you. Yeah.
which is why we really like start to finish on projects.
So you're trimming your own framing, say.
Yeah. Because if we're the ones trimming it out,
It's gonna look good.
your frame is going to be great.
You're holding yourself to realize that you're the next guy in line.
Yeah. I've always thought that it was a part of kind of a drawback of the specialization that we've gone down the route of, especially in carpentry. It's not so much. I mean, you don't have guys who just rough in electric and guys who just trim out electric.
Yeah.
But in the carpentry trade, you've got guys who just frame.
Like I said, I won't say the job, but like I said, with the doors and walls being out, we had a job altogether like a year or two ago that was like that, where every door we had to set was a nightmare. Because the bottom plates didn't line up. Yeah, it was like when you carry a framing wall through, you have to laid out afterwards. I guess whoever framed it stopped the plates, so the bottom of the walls were an inch on almost every door. Well, that's the kind of thing you like. In the moment, you're like, "Oh, it's fine." It's easier to set a door,
Right.
Especially when you're trying to do that and you've got a double door, French door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you're trying to have both doors line up just right going down the whole plane. But if your wall's like this, offset of each other, I mean, that's when you get good at what you do. When you get to the point you can fix those kind of problems, that's when you're like, all right, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, adaptability, something like that.
Yeah.
But in your head, you're also like, well, I'll never make that mistake because I remember how hard it was setting those doors. If the walls were straight, that wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
And if you had never, gone behind a framing crew that framed somewhat poorly, not bad, but somewhat poorly, you never had the experience of fixing that mistake, then you're not as good as the next guy that has. Because the more mistakes that you can fix and the more problems that you can overcome, that's how you get better at what you do. Conquering that failure.
Adaptability. When you said adaptability.
And it's a very, I think that the philosophers could talk about it for a long time. And they have. You got this ideal of perfection, and then you have reality. And how do those two interact with each other? How much of that do you guys run into when you deal with existing electrical systems?
Yeah, a lot.
I would disagree. Pretty close to perfect that we run into. It's all beautiful.
No, the most didn't see the amount of times that I've like gone into a crawl space and seen too many things plugged into one thing, or just wires run in a really crappy way. Too many wires pulled in a conduit, all that stuff. That the amount of times we've just said like, "What the fuck was this guy thinking?" Is I can't count it. It's
Definitely see it more in y'all's trade than ours. Where you're like, whoa.
I think it's because like when you rough in a house, what's covered is covered. No one sees it. No one knows.
Can't see it from my house.
Is that
Yeah. Yeah. So two things come to my mind. One is, have you been in the attic over the Hickey's master bathroom?
Yes. Yeah.
What'd you see up there?
A lot of it we demoed. So
Okay.
yeah, a lot of it we demoed. And a lot of it was blown in insulation at the time when we were up there. So I saw a lot of insulation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because when we did the office addition off the back, I remember sticking my head up there and feeling this sense of I was in a different universe. Because it was like so overwhelming, like the junk and crap work that I saw up there. It's like, where to even begin?
Yeah. Everything was connected together up there, including the attic fan. So while we were up there sweating,
Yeah,
they connected everything.
It was a mess.
Yeah, a lot of it we got rid of. That's typically what I'll do in those situations. Like if we're doing like a renovation where we're rewiring the lights and stuff, and I see that the work isn't really that good, I'm just like, just get rid of it and do it right.
Get it all out. A lot of times it's easier, it's faster, more efficient, just to gut it and start over.
Trying to figure out what they did.
Yeah.
And then figuring out, oh, you can't do this. You can't have a bathroom on with a bedroom. Now we have to do it, the right way anyways. So
Mm-hmm.
All the way down to like the techniques. Like you see a tool mark on there, like, oh, they're using knives to cut their. I don't trust anything in here now. Everything's nicked and it's all too short.
Yeah. Well, that's something I learned in the construction side was almost every time a house that we were working on had been renovated, the renovation work was poor.
Mm.
And almost all needed to be taken out. Have
You're saying a previous renovation?
Yeah, say the house was built originally and it was fine. It's an older house. It was built pretty well. But then someone came in and redid the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Redid a bathroom.
Yeah.
And now you're in there renovating the kitchen again. Or, take any example of that.
That seems to happen a lot when there's like limitations on the addition. So like they say they don't want to take something out, the homeowners. And people are trying to find a way around taking that out. So there's a junction box where there shouldn't be.
I'm sure budget is probably like 60 to 70% of reason why you see the red flags we see.
Yeah. Absolutely. If I could suggest to every client, just spend $10,000 more and do it right. Take a HELOC. And just do it right, because you're going to pay for it down the road.
Yeah.
Better just pay for it once, have it done right.
Yeah.
We have one of those situations at Hickey right now. We ran into a little bit where it's like, if we just pulled the cabinets, right, then it would have been easier on everybody, but they didn't want to at the time.
That is such a great lesson right there. The not doing enough demolition.
Looking back, I would be like, we have to pull it.
Absolutely. Like if you don't do enough demolition, if you try to save that wall, if you try to work around that thing, it just fights you.
Snowballs.
Until the end of the job.
And then it also is like a cost of labor versus the cost of replacing this drywall.
100, yeah.
Yeah, drywall is cheap. Labor's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, we had to, for the first time in 15 years, I had to use a Dremel on a job site.
All right. And it wouldn't be the case if you had done the demo.
Yeah. If we had taken the cabinet out, could have just ripped that whole floor up and been done with it. And now we know. And then the other thing too, we want to do it again.
Yeah.
I had to clean the subfloor up. So with a grinder, a diamond wheel, clean all the thin set and Duroc bonded to the plywood.
Right.
If we had been able to pull that cabinet out, we could have perimeter cut the entire bathroom, pulled up the top layer 1/2-inch plywood and replaced it.
Right.
And we could have done that in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Now we got 2 days. 2 days in it.
Yeah.
Because the cabinet has to stay. And so at the end of the day, clients paying more money
to save
something than they would have if they just would have taken it out and started over.
Yeah. And you're not necessarily talking about replacing the cabinet.
No, just taking
it out and putting it back in.
Yep. Yeah, probably replacing a top, but maybe not.
Yeah, that's the question. Can you get
you get it
without breaking it? But that's a risk.
Yeah. But I still think, if you say, hey, I mean, the top's $4,000, it's going to cost you $2,000 to do the workaround. You have an extra $2,000 to buy a new top in case you need it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a risk. Yeah. But then you get a new top that's not stained.
Yeah.
Not stained, scratched.
Right.
Old.
Interesting.
You have a whole new bathroom, but an old cabinet, an old top. You got a brand new shower, brand new tub, brand new toilet, brand new tile floors, brand new tile walls, brand new drywall, brand new lighting, brand new electrical. So I think trying to save stuff in renovations causes a lot of the problems.
It causes so much trouble. And it makes sense at the beginning. It makes sense to say, well, let's not take that.
We don't have to do that.
We don't have to do that. It's an expense for the plumbing. There's an expense for all of these things that are involved in it.
But down the line, you realize how much time you spent.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to a client?
We have. Yeah. I mean, every client's different.
Yeah. There's DIY clients who are really hands-on. I want to go on vacation in 6 months and you guys make all the cool choices and I trust you guys. I find the more hands-on, capable people are more yellow flag as a business person because they want to keep the cabinets. They think they're going to save 30% if they, put an obstacle in the middle of the room or something. Yeah, for your example.
Yeah, I hit the remote start on my truck in a client meeting when they say, "Oh, and I can help you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had a meeting where the client said, "Can we frame the deck and you guys finish it?"
Or vice versa. Like, what if I frame it and then you guys finish it? Or, and we're like,
No.
No, that's just an invitation to disaster.
yeah.
Yeah, the intentions I think are pure and innocent, but in reality, you guys know what's going to happen behind the curtain. You're like, this isn't going to help anything, but this is only going to hurt everything.
Yeah.
There's been some jobs I've done in the past where the client is like, "Oh, well, I'll pull the wire, and if you want to come in and check everything and cut in the boxes after and tie in the panel," and like those jobs that I have done like that, you get to put in an outlet and you have like 3 inches of wire in the box, and you're like, because they're trying to save money on wire, not realizing that extra 8 inches that you could have left made this outlet going from me putting it in from 2 minutes to 15 minutes, because now we got to extend all those wires.
Yeah.
And it adds up, you would be 10 outlets in a room. That's an extra, hour putting in outlets. Or normally the entire wood we done in under a half hour. So, yeah.
It's like when you go in for knee surgery, you don't tell the doctor, like, "Hey, when you're halfway done, wake me up, and I'll reattach my patella tendon, and then you put me back under to stitch me up, all right?"
I think this is the only business where that happens.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one.
Yeah, the trades. There's the trades. How is the trades?
See an itemized receipt, and then let's delete the really expensive part in the middle.
Yeah. I saw a great thing on social media. It's this guy in a coffee shop. He ordered these fancy lattes that people get or whatever. And he goes to the server, says, "Oh, and when you bring that out, could you give me an itemized list of the breakdown cost of the cup, the foam on top, the coffee beans? Can you itemize how many beans it took to actually make this coffee? And then whatever other ingredients, could you list them separately and then give me a line-by-line breakdown of the cost, please? And then could you also tell me what the labor breakdown is on top of that?"
And whatever I don't use, I want the leftovers.
Your leftover beans, please. Yeah, full bears.
Yeah, could you please leave the spent grounds? I like to take those to my compost pile. Like, well, I can make a pile of lumber on your property if you want, kill part of your grass, or I can just throw it away. I mean, you guys are going to throw it away anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, all of these things that seem like a good idea first.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Which they think it is. But we know because we've done it so much that it's not. It's a waste of time, basically. But that's just because we've seen it for so long. And these clients and homeowners don't know that they're not actually saving money by doing that.
Correct. And I learned it that way too. Yeah. I think it's a good idea to keep this vanity in place, or not take out this wall, or not pull up the subfloor in the bathroom. And then you fight it.
Although there are some instances where you would want to keep stuff. Like, I understand if it's like an antique thing, or like an antique, or you're trying to keep like the certain charm of the house or something. That's understandable. But
Absolutely.
when it's just simply about cutting costs or trying to make things easier, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It ends up costing a lot more than you think.
If your house was built from 1960 to now,
There's nothing that should be.
That's an interesting one, right?
Yeah.
The older houses were built differently.
And then there was a
it is incredible.
Different materials.
Yes.
Different, that level of quality we were talking about earlier.
And layout too.
Anything pre-50.
And layout.
I would say it's the most noticeable thing. When you go to a house that built, early 1900s, late 1800s, you put a level on something, and it's not level. It's not plumb, but everything looks right. It's like an optical illusion that you cannot figure out how it worked. And our biggest trick, like when we're doing an addition on an old house, is like, how perfect do we make this?
Yeah.
And this is kind of like, you strive for perfection, self for excellence. Like, this is like, when you're trying to work on an old house and you're building something new, with new materials, but you don't want the house to change its charm.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to, it's like, all right, well, let's put the level down for a second.
Look at it.
Let's look at it. Let's follow the existing lines of the house and make this thing look like it was when it was first built in 1860. It's not going to be level. It's not going to be plumb. It's going to be built right. It's going to be structurally sound, and it's going to match what's there.
Yeah. We just had that within the addition. Roof. And the roof's an inch and a half out. Well, what do? You go?
Yeah. You need to change it.
Yeah, you can't change it. You're splitting the difference.
Yes. Yeah, split the difference between perfect and it is.
Yeah, and sometimes making something perfect looks funny.
Yeah.
Looks wrong.
All the time. Old houses, every time. That's why you got to stand back and look at it. A lot of people get so absorbed with the, tunnel vision of what they're building. They never just take tool belt off and stand back 30 feet, 40 feet and look at the big picture.
Yeah, there's a bunch of times I could think of where working in new houses, like laying out cans or something like that, and you're trying to do a nice layout on a room, but none of the walls are square. And you break out the laser to try to like line them up with a laser level, and you realize, oh, this can's 2 inches off of this wall on this side, more than it is on the other end of the room. And it's one of those things, like you said, you gotta, just go off of what's existing. Get up there with a tape measure 2 feet off the wall all the way down. They're not going to be in line, but the gap between the wall and the cans are going to be
What you're going to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your eye follows line.
Yeah.
That's I worked with a contractor who said that. Like, if you can't put something perfect in an imperfect space because your eye's going to
Notice it.
Yeah. They're going to follow whatever line that is existing and realize, oh, that's off of that. So,
Yeah.
My first employer in construction, mentor, told me, Bubba, carpentry is an illusion.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Now I know. It really is. When you're doing renovations, carpentry is an illusion. When you're building new, it's not. When you're building new, everything is mathematical.
Yes.
When you're doing renovations, it's a magic trick.
Building sculpture.
It's art. It's the difference between, I think new building is science and renovation is art.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why I like renovation more. I've always said it's the challenge that I like.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the creativity,
Mm-hmm.
the artistic creativity.
There's way more. I mean, if you're building new, you're looking at an architect's plans.
Yeah.
You don't have any of the design.
Yeah.
So it's could be
That's part of it too, yeah.
Probably lends itself to why, you were saying earlier, all the previous renovations you've seen have been done like crap.
because there's no plans.
Or because the guy that did it didn't have the artistic skill set yet. And he was still working in a scientific realm.
It could be.
We just had a moment like that at his house. Standing there trying to figure out how to build his roof.
Yeah.
We just stood there for about 30 minutes just looking at it.
Yeah.
That's so invaluable.
Yeah.
Thinking and not working
Yeah.
before you do something.
Higher stat. I was doing something at the bottom of the staircase, electrical wise, and you guys are staring at the stairs like, how are we gonna wrap this thing? And you guys just stood there. And then a couple of days later, it was beautifully done. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
A little bit of head scratching. Yeah. All right, Bubba. Yep, we got our illusion.
That's interesting when you have a set of plans like we did there and you're in it and you're like, oh, well, that wouldn't make sense. Yes. When the plans don't work, you have those moments of like, oh.
You guys were allergic to it in like a good way. And like, I need to save this. What? This can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is part of, I might push back a little bit on the mathematical or scientific thing in the new construction because, like you said, the wall plates might not be lined up even if it's new construction, or the drawings
Yeah.
don't work.
That's
Drawings on page 5 don't match drawings on page 2.
The math ain't math.
the math ain't math. Math ain't math. It's the interesting thing with a new build as well, is there's less margins. So, like when you run into a problem like that, it's more of a big deal on a new build because there's no margins for anybody, for the most part. You go into a new build thinking this isn't all going to work. This plan we have,
Right.
and when it doesn't, you're like, oh,
Or even on the electrical side of things, and you get a set of prints and it's just like, oh, there's a light that goes here, 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 and here. And you lay them all out and you go, oh, that line's on a joist. That line's a joist. That one's on a support.
didn't account for that.
Yeah. So we handle this from here and still make it look close enough to what the customer's asking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things where with our previous employer, on some of the jobs that were well designed, I won't name architectural names, but some guys knew how to architect. Like they were good.
Yeah. They thought about what you just said
Mm-hmm.
and not placing joists where they have a light.
And then when you're building it, like for us, framing a brand new $8 million house, and then you're looking at it, you have the reflection of your electrical plan. We have the plumbing plan. We have everything. So as we're framing it, we're like, oh, there's a toilet here. Let's offset this joist.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a light here. Let's offset that ceiling joist.
Right. And on those kind of jobs, you've got that information ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right. And you build to the final product.
Yeah. And so when you guys come in and start roughing electrical, you don't run into I got to cut a ceiling joist out and block it in order to get that light there. It's like, no, we've already got it for you.
But I think it also ties back into like one of the ideals about caring about what you do in the overall product. Because if you didn't, there's a good chance that you maybe don't even look at the electrical prints and you just go, yeah, fuck it, this is what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all. Some people, that's all they think about is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Try not to screw the next guy.
Yeah. And that's another reason why it's so important to take tool belts off and step back 30 feet and look at it. Look at the big picture. Your 1 8-hour day on the job site, that's just one tree in the forest. You got to look at the whole forest in order to execute to the highest level possible.
Yeah. One of my favorite architects said, I like working with contractors like you because you're thinking about the cornice while you're laying out the foundation.
Yep.
Yeah. And looking at the big picture is what that's all about.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've solved all the problems of construction.
I'm about to throw out a one to question you guys on. And it falls into one of the reasons that I've confidence that you guys can work on a 1950s aluminum camper and do things that are outside of your chosen trade, and that you have the ability to do things that are varied. None of you all work on cars for a living, but as much as you may not like working on cars, you can work on your own. There's something about the variety of what I'd like to call a general mechanic or a remodel carpenter. I know you guys are electricians, but there's an ability to do various things. And the old saying is, jack of all trades, master of none. Mm-hmm. But I think that's not a good way of looking at things.
It's a pessimistic way of looking at it.
It's a pessimistic way of looking at things, right?
Yeah. I consider myself a jack of all trades, master of one.
That's a good way. That's a much good way of looking at it.
Especially with YouTube now. I can do anything.
I'll figure it.
That's true, right? I don't mind taking apart my dryer when it doesn't work. Yeah, because I have enough mechanical ability and you two that I know, oh, there's probably a burned out heating element or the tensioner on the pulleys or the belt's not right or something like that. And I don't know, is it worth saying that's more of an ideal to be able to do a variety of things?
Yes. Trust that you'll just figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're bleeding yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's also important, though, to know your limitations.
Yeah, that is important.
I mean, I can rough in a house. I can wire a switch. I can wire a plug. I can, but it's like I limit myself. I'm like, I'm not going to the pound. I know how it's done. I've seen it done 100 times. I can do it, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm good with that. I'm happy hiring that out.
Yeah. And how do you make that decision of where that line is?
I made it when I couldn't figure out what a switch did in my bathroom. I called Tristan's. I don't know what to do here, man.
Phoning a friend.
And he figured it out immediately. But it would have taken me a day. Yeah, more. Yeah, he did it in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. I get that. That's how you figure out your limitations.
Yeah.
How much time are you willing to spend figuring this out?
Yeah.
What's more valuable to you right now? Your time or doing it yourself? It's like
time or the frustration level.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how much stress do you want to incorporate into your life right now? It's like when I was building my house, I did it all myself, right? So like framed it with Riley's help, demoed it, framed it, put the roof on it, did all the shingles. Now I did them in February, so it was nice. Now I am in July doing the other addition on my house, and I'm like, well, it's July. I'm going to let roofers do this so I don't melt on my roof.
Right.
So that's the limitation is like, I don't want to be on this roof in 100-degree heat.
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with whether or not you've done something before? Like, say you haven't done something, so you want to, for me, I guess, I am more inclined to want to do something because I want to learn it.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is. If it's something you want to know how to do.
Yeah.
There's things where I'm like, I don't want to know how to do that. Certain things,
I mean, that's kind of how it was when I did my brakes on my truck the first time. I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, I can do this and I could save money by doing it myself. So I bought all the parts, rotors, calipers, spent 10 hours in my driveway in the blistering sun. And I was like, fuck this. I'm never doing it again. And as I'm test driving it around, it's still in the back of my mind. I'm like, I hope I did this right. Brakes are pretty important.
So that's exactly, I was just going to the brake thing because it's like, I know how to change brakes.
Yeah.
Am I ever going to change my own brakes outside of a nuclear holocaust?
Yeah.
No, because I like to drive fast and I need to slow down quickly as well.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's a confidence and expertise thing.
Right. And even if I did have the confidence, it's like, I don't have a lift. So I got to jack up each individual wheel, take it all off.
Yeah.
Or I can drive it to my mechanic. He can put it on his lift and be done in an hour and a half.
Some interesting thing about that, though, is in the trades, we all know somebody that can help us with almost anything we don't know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you build relationships with guys in all the other fields of, between one of us, one of us will know how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would just keep it simple and think of it as like small for me, big for you kind of thing. Like it's nothing for me, but this is a big thorn in your side. Let me help you out because this would be one for me later.
Yeah. I remember when I first started doing my house, my family was like, are you sure you're going to do that yourself? I'm like, yeah, I can do it.
But your project was insane. Took the whole lid of your house off and then raised it up.
I know. There's two of us crazy.
Yeah.
But my family was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
And how much satisfaction did you get out at the end?
Oh, the pride was incredible. I mean, when I got the shingles on that roof and the water stopped coming through, that point in time when I started hanging drywall, it was like, fuck, I'm awesome.
This is great.
I was like, I am the coolest dude in the world.
Show them the pictures you sent me after we're done.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. And I think that, that translates throughout life. It's like, even like in dating, you have that confidence that's like, I am who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm incapable of. And you can apply that in every facet of life.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for, teaching the next generation that, you got to gain your own confidence. Like, nobody's going to give that to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Well, that leads me into one of the things I wanted to talk about is something like that, how to instill the confidence or the self-directedness or something, which I think we've talked about in the past, is the difference between sort of lecturing somebody and letting them do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the old adage was that, you can give somebody a fish and eat for a day, or you can teach them how to fish and they eat for a lifetime.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And then where's that balance point of, do you watch somebody fail and let them make the mistake and learn?
We did that yesterday.
Okay. What was that? Was that one?
Yeah. Nico had him cut out a window of plywood for the first time.
It was very difficult to watch.
So I think it was harder for Nico than it was for Ellen.
It was. I'm like, it's my house. It doesn't matter. It's my house. It's my house. It doesn't matter. He can mess this up. So this is the place for him to do this.
That's the thing where it gets tricky too, is like, where is the place to do that?
Right.
Because you don't want a customer to pay for something that is being messed up just for the sake of learning.
Yeah. There's things like that where it's like, okay, well, even how bad could he?
Yeah.
It's not going to cut through the studs, right? Like, at least we hope not.
Yeah. Right. How much damage can happen in a few moments? Right. Even a skilled tradesman can make some horrible mistakes.
And do I have the time right now to do this?
That's part of the trade-off too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good, when you have a job that, you have a budget that you've already submitted, and that's it. Like, you're not going past that unless extras are added in on the homeowner side of things. It's like, yeah, I mean, if he messes that up, it's just you and me eating it.
Yeah.
It isn't hurting the client's structure. It's not, it's not going to cause any problems down the line.
That's a good point.
We just have to fix it on our own dime. And that's the trade-off of, we're going to lose, quote unquote, lose some money on this, trying to train up the next generation. But that time that he's spending right there could potentially wind up earning us exponentially more than we lost.
It's an investment.
It's an investment, and it's a risk. Everything in business is a risk. So it's like, how much risk reward are you willing to put up? Are you a gambler or are you not? And if you are you a responsible gambler, or you need to call the helpline?
Right. Yeah. Well, so let's apply that to this idea of the fall camper camp. And say there's 4, 6, I don't know how many high school kids we'll find in the next few months. And you've got this project, which is a real world project, and mistakes are real, and the final product is real. What does that process look like of vetting them or figuring out what to let them try, what to let them do?
It won't take long. No, we'll know pretty quickly what they're capable of doing.
I think it'd be wise to probably spend the first hours doing some kind of a safety course, just to instill some level of common sense about things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, with us, using the jigsaw, go ahead. I mean, the worst you're going to do is cut a pinky off, right? But you're using a table saw in the wintertime, wearing a hoodie, and you have the little strings hanging out of the hoodie, and then it gets caught in the blade, and then bring your face down into the table saw blade.
We still won't. We still haven't let Owen use table saw. He's been with us for 4 months.
February.
Yeah, 5 months.
I need to respect it for sure.
Well, that's the tool that we use. That it's game over with it.
Yeah, it's life.
There's zero forgiveness.
And so for him, it's like, you stay on the outfeed and watch how we push these things through. You don't pull them through, we push them through. Watch it 10,000 times.
Yeah.
Because I've watched 2 guys already get their fingers cut off on table saws. And, Owen's 20 years old. He needs his fingers.
Hey, I need my fingers. Yeah, watch your digits. Yeah. Well, that safety thing is really an important question.
Yeah. It's also, how old are these kids? I mean, they're
High school,
so 15 to
18, something like that.
I guess it really depends on,
the kid.
the kid. It's like, we should be able to, all of us should be able to immediately recognize if this kid's a danger to himself or not.
Yeah.
It's like, even just watching how somebody walks. It's like, okay, he's got a good gait.
Running into stuff. He's not.
Yeah, he's not clumsy.
Right.
He's making thoughtful movements with his feet.
Right.
For us, that's a major thing, because one misstep off of a roof and you're done.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you spatially aware?
Yes.
Can you monitor your surroundings and work at the same time?
Right.
Because you need to know where your friends are, where your coworkers are. You're not going to have earbuds in. Sorry. Because you need to hear what's going on around you. It's like, if there's a skill saw next to your ear and you're wearing sound canceling earbuds,
Yeah.
that's a problem, because you're not spatially aware, and job sites are chaos.
Yeah.
They can be chaos.
Yeah, but what if it's just one earbud?
Well, I go back and forth with that all the time. It's like, I just bought my first set to mow grass, and they're awesome. They're truly awesome. But I cannot tell you how many times I've been trying to communicate with somebody on the job site, and I'm like, why is he not listening to me?
Yeah. Well, you can't be wearing earbuds if you're working with other people.
Yeah, it's like, why is he not
By
listening?
yourself, not whatever.
He's got earbuds in.
It's a big thing with the new generation.
Yeah, I mean, in my perspective, your hearing is worth a lot less than your body as a whole.
You mean as far as protection?
Yeah.
Protecting?
Yes, like your hearing, go on a nice long weekend camping in the quiet of the woods, and your hearing will repair itself. But if you got your earbuds in and you cut a hand off, it's not growing back. But your hearing will come back eventually.
Yeah.
There's some short-term, long-term weighing there.
Yeah. Well, you said something interesting. I think you said you can tell. You said pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
If you feel comfortable, is that what it is?
Yeah.
You feel comfortable that they're being safe.
Almost immediately you'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about with you guys, if you'll be able to know immediately, but with us,
Yeah. I'll have to say with Tristan, I felt pretty comfortable.
The first day, pretty quick, you were like, go cut all these holes out of there. All right.
What else? Since you were younger, you've been working, like doing farm stuff and helping out with tools. And so like, I didn't have as much to think about. Whereas someone like Patrick, I still feel like I have to keep my eye, like my peripherals on him almost all the time with some of the things he does. But that's all that at this point, some of the stuff is like personal choices that he needs to figure out. Cause like if I can only tell someone, hey, don't stand on a ladder that way so many times before they have to fall off and break, and I would be like, hey, told you so.
Yeah, they gotta find the limits.
That's right. You and I both were like, we'd never fallen off a ladder. Like maybe like, on the side, but he's like, I've fallen off like 2 or 3 times. Like, don't do that.
it's funny you say that. The only person I've ever seen fall off a roof was an electrician. Well,
Really?
Aaron, I was nailing the last piece of plywood down. I was standing on a kicker, looking over the gable, and I heard it. And I turned around, and he was falling off the side of the roof behind.
Oh gosh.
He wasn't a carpenter much longer.
I think it was last week.
Yeah.
Scary stuff, man. I've seen a guy go over the edge and I'm standing up and, oh my God. Run down. You okay? Yeah.
Young people bounce better, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Bones are a little bit more. But that's true. They're more subtle.
You never know when you fall off a ladder, though. He called me one day and was like, hey, man, I'm taking your dad to the hospital. He just fell off a ladder. I said, well, yeah. Well, how bad was it? How big of a ladder? He said it was like 4-footer.
Yeah, but
So you reach that point where a 4-foot ladder and you're
4 foot thrust, broken ribs, broken arm.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
People really hurt themselves on very short balls.
well, your uncle at on Prospect.
That was a freaky one.
I mean, he fell off a 4 foot tall walkboard.
Well, yeah, he fell off a walkboard, and then the walkboard fell as his foot was on something. And
Oh, yeah.
just snapped his leg the other way.
Yeah.
Pretty cool liver there. So
Yeah, that's the one thing too. It's like, we talk about confidence and having confidence in what you're doing. It's like, for me, I can walk a wall without rafters up. I've done it before, but I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Unless I absolutely have to.
risk or reward.
It's like, I know I can walk this wall, but I'm 35 years old now. It's like when I was walking these walls at 20, 22, I was like, I could take that fall.
Yeah, I'll probably be all right.
But now I'm like,
That's gonna hurt.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's true for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then even like the 1-inch steps, like when you have a 1-inch slip and the 1-inch heart attack.
Yeah.
Like sometimes those little 1-inch drop downs hurt me more than jumping off of an 8-foot wall. And so it's like,
Yeah.
now you just be more careful. There's one thing with Owen. I've been driving home to him because this is something that's just so important to me because I've seen it happen too many times with extension ladders. It's like you leave an extension ladder up against the house and it's set there, but you haven't checked it. You haven't actually tested it. Well, you got other guys working with you. Use the same ladders. What if they think that ladder's been up there and it's already been walked and they just start climbing it and then the latches aren't properly connected to the rungs
Or slips.
So it's like you have to go up there and test that ladder because like you are the guy that's telling me that the ladder, if you're putting that ladder up, you're the guy telling me that that ladder's safe now. And I shouldn't have to check it. I still do, but I shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
I should be able to trust you. And trust is a huge thing. That's probably an ideal right there in itself. Trusting your coworkers.
It's the same thing with like having someone foot your ladder too. Like if you're in one of those situations where maybe you're leaning over a bush and the end wants to kick out and you got to have someone on the bottom. It's like, you stand there. Like, I don't want to see you on your phone looking while you're holding the ladder. Like your feet go here and you're leaning into this. Cause if you don't, I'm falling 20 feet.
Yep. You got to be able to trust your coworkers.
Yeah. Trust. I kind of got some pushback when we were trying to write up kind of an employee handbook, say. And my take on safety was if anybody on the job feels like things aren't safe, that's the problem. And that's that trust or intuition or being able to tell what's going on. Because we do dangerous things.
Yeah.
All day long. But somehow we feel safe doing it.
Mm-hmm. I've certainly had moments on jobs where I was like,
Oh yeah.
Our previous employer there was moments on
They all on safety.
Yeah. There's moments on those jobs where I'm like, all right, well, we're all one moment away from death right now if somebody makes a mistake.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Well, you never can lab meters.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and you know that.
Yeah.
Now you may have the pressure from the employer. You may have
Which is
pressure.
what I felt.
Yeah, that kind of pushes, and that's to me a issue that's separate and it's by itself. Because I would never do that. It's like,
No.
do what you need to do to feel safe.
At this point, if I ever had to get into situations again, there would be safety.
And you'd say, hey,
Yeah. I wouldn't be on a 70-foot truss with nothing.
Right.
Again,
You don't have a 75-pound man holding the tail line of a truss. Right. Yeah. You have a nice big heavy guy holding the tail line of a truss.
Yeah. Or a 16-foot walkboard that's made out of a couple 2x4s.
Yeah. I've got some pictures of what felt.
So we've literally been on card houses. You figure making a card house, yeah. That's what we've been standing on.
And we've been on walkboard setups that cost about $500,000.
Yeah.
Lull to lull to lull to mail lever to
Yeah.
with 2x10s connecting everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that risk reward thing you talked about.
Yeah. You can sacrifice safety for efficiency to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So until you can't.
Until it bites you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What tools are you comfortable giving a 15, 16-year-old in? Jigsaw, drill?
Well,
Yeah.
that was the thing. I'm
Multi-tool.
carrying. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be. I mean, ideally, we have some selectivity, and what I'm looking for is people who have some background.
Yeah.
Maybe it's with their father. Maybe it's with an uncle. Maybe it's I don't know what. And they're not going to. I mean, these days you can't expect them to have experience from school necessarily, because most. Now, I do understand that the outlying counties have trade schools and the high school trade programs, but that would be one of my first things on day one is tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah.
Tell us what tools you have used. Tell it, and then to go backwards, I want to introduce some things that are probably a little different than we would do at a school, but putting it back on them and instilling the empowerment of them to say, all right, here's the list of things that we're going to do on this camper or next summer, tiny house or whatever the project is. What do you think you can do? And put it back on them and say, I think I can use a skill saw, or I think I can use this. But instilling that sense of confidence, like you were talking about, Nico, of, yeah, I feel comfortable standing up and saying, I think I can do that, or I think I can help you with that.
Yeah.
So I'd like us to be kind of putting it equally on them, not all on them. And then we'll have to use our judgment. Okay, you say, you think you can use that chop saw to cut these strips of plywood to length? I'm not sure I think you can.
Yeah. And I would say it's probably 50-50 on whether you can trust an 18-year-old to do that.
Cause there is that part of being like a younger person working with older people is like you want to say that you can do things. Yeah, try to like gain some clout.
Yeah.
So they'll say they are capable of doing something.
We're scared of missing them.
Yeah, we're scared of missing the opportunity that they necessarily can't do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, right? And then you all be in the position, and I will too, of giving them the go-ahead or not.
So in your theme of letting them choose, would you say fix window corner and then do like a little brochure of like cutting aluminum, flashing, and then just kind of have like a list of like what that job's going to entail and say, select off the whiteboard of what you're most interested in, and I'll help you do X, Y, and Z for the next 4 hours.
Basically, yeah.
So it could be beneficial too, just to throw it out there and get their ideas of what they think they need to do. Like, all right, we need to put this window in. What do we need to do to get this window in?
Yes. I thought about that in the day of saying, introduction of like, this is what we have on the list to do. And you all take half an hour and talk amongst yourself about what it would take, what you would do, how you would break it down, and then come back to us and tell us what you think. And with that concept of the Socratic method, as much as possible, try not to lecture them, but more ask questions. Have you thought about that? What happens if, again, to put it back in their court and see what comes out?
So hypothetically speaking, if one of these kids chooses install AC units, there's going to be a lot of like procedural, follow these 150 steps to get the AC unit to go from off to on. Oh, yep. I feel like that one might be like a more follow the big mama duck kind of situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's going to be plenty of things, and you all know this, like, I'm going to learn more watching you do it than me trying to do it.
I'm sure there's also going to be instances too where you're working and you're also trying to figure out something for yourself that maybe you run into for the first time while you're teaching other people how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think letting them listen in on the discussion of, well, the instructions say this, and we've got this to work with, and this, and a little bit of back and forth. Again, learning by listening, learning by seeing is super powerful.
Yeah, especially when it's something like a camper where there's not going to be a lot of repeat. It's like I've never learned anything doing it once. That's how my brain works, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to repeat it multiple times before I actually get a handle on it.
Exposure is good. If little 16-year-old me was exposed to a jigsaw and a drum sander and a belt sander, I'm like, oh my God, I can round that edge over in 30 seconds. Oh my God.
Which I mean, that would probably be one part of this program that's more beneficial than actually building the camper in a way. Teaching the tools.
Now, that's something I plan on doing, is having some material that's available and giving them the option to do something self-directed. And say, what? We show up, we circle up in the morning and say, well, Nico's going to take the lead on doing this thing today, and Riley's going to take the lead on doing this thing today. What are you guys interested in?
Do something.
Or do you want to go and fool with those 2x4s over there?
Right. I was just kind of thinking, bringing out just some sheets of plywood, and just showing them how, if you don't cut the plywood straight with a skill saw,
it comes back.
It comes back at you, and demonstrate that live. You're like, this is what happens if you don't follow a straight line with the skill saw,
or if you try to make a cut between two sets of saw versus
the pinch.
and when it pinches,
Owen's done it so many times already. I'm trying to beat it into his hip. It's like one of those things that we think is obvious.
You do, and I would think once you do it once or twice, you don't want to do it again.
But I think it's one of those things we think is obvious because we've done it so many times.
Yeah.
If you've never done it,
That's true. And when I'm not, or even if I'm being careful and I don't get it right, it still pinches. I still get that.
still have
every once in a while.
Yeah.
Sure.
Chainsawing. It's a physics puzzle the whole time.
I mean, so there's that energy going. Yeah. Oh, and it is frustrating when I get the bar pinched.
I feel that way when I'm cutting 2x4s too. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm pushing this weight to.
Today we'll line you up with the high schoolers and teach you where to get.
I'm here to learn, David.
Yeah. And then there's the evaluation. I'm going to try not to use the word judgment, but the evaluation of the outcome. And that's going to be a big part of the interaction with them, is how does that look? Again, maybe not statements. That looks like shit. But what do you think? How does that look to you? And giving them the opportunity to go back to that standards, establishing standards. Oh, that's good enough, or that's not good enough. And using real world things, I think, is really interesting to me. Because a lot of schools, you're going to be working on something that doesn't matter. You're going to be putting something together that you're just going to take apart later. And it's not meant to last. It's just an exercise. But I'm talking about using real world things. Like, hey, this is what we did. And it's going to be cool if they can do something that works out great and you can take a picture of it and say, look at what Steve did.
Look what I was able to accomplish.
Yeah. And Steve can go back and say, look what I did.
Yeah.
And get that sense of satisfaction and maybe see it later. Maybe see it 5 years from now and it's still there.
Yeah. Are you going to be doing any framing in there? Aluminum studs, rainforest wood studs?
No, the frame's pretty much there. It'll be trim work for the interior woodworking. Now, I should say, the one air conditioner is going in a place where there's a hole that's too big. It's where a vent is in the roof. So it's got to be reframed. So that will be a case of some aluminum, riveting, maybe some wood involved in it. But that will be a framing project, basically making a new hole in the roof.
Cool.
Yeah, that'll be a structural thing. And probably, have any of you all riveted before? Yeah.
Like a little squeeze rivet gun?
No, not the pop rivets.
Yeah, I've only done the popper.
Okay. Yeah,
Pop rivets with it.
Yeah, these are
Ones with the air hammer?
There's an air hammer and a piece of steel that you hold in the back. And you can underdo it and you can overdo it. But I think that's cool because, like I was saying earlier, you all have these varied backgrounds. You've mastered different trades, but you have the jack of lots of other things. And it's going to be cool for me to see whoever's working on the riveting. It might be before you all get there. It might be in the first couple weekends. How does this work? Let's maybe take a scrap over here and mess with it and get the hang of it. Or maybe we have some guys, young guys who are like, oh yeah, I know sheet metal. I've been working on cars. And maybe they can teach us something. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Get some kid with a mullet and a flatbed and might have a welder on the back of it.
Well, if we do that, then we'll work on the other camper because that's the one that needs some welding. That would be really cool too if we could work on both campers. But anything you guys would want to say to prospective high schooler who might want to come out this fall?
Just do it.
Yeah, go learn something.
The worst thing you can do is fail.
That's right.
And that's not that bad.
That's a good thing. If you look at it in a positive light.
Yeah. That's how you learn.
Yeah. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably learn more from failing and learning from your mistakes than you do just by reading something or researching something and trying to do it right the first time.
Yeah. Nothing like a good consequence.
And then you feel crappy and you go, fuck, how do I not feel this crappy again? Just do it this way.
Yes. And the cool thing about this kind of school is you don't get an F. And you don't have this thing that you're dragging along with you into the future. You might even get an A, right? Yeah, you messed up. Good for you.
Yeah, you learn more than the rest of the class.
Anything else for him?
Seven P's. So I'm taking where?
Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
Take that to the bank.
That's much better said than what I used to say. It's just take some time and plan. Just take some time and lay it out. Lay it out first.
You just yell and say, think about what you're doing.
Or you can do it like we just built my roof. Like,
Go for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's such thing as too much planning, though. So I made between 8 and a dozen drawings of my roof, trying to figure out how to build it. It's in kind of a funky area. On the first drawing I drew, I threw it away. I was like, no. And then Riley comes out there. He's like, well, I'm going to build it like this. I'm like, it's the first drawing I drew.
Oh man, that's a good one.
And I threw it away. I was like, no.
That's such a good one.
But, you get into your own head and you're like, no, when you did this, let's do it this way. And then, you get too focused in the tunnel vision that you don't just step back. And that's what happened to me. I just didn't step back and look at it again. I was like, I could do this on paper. Engineer that thing. Like, no, just do it simple. Just make it a common hip. Don't try to make it a bastard hip. Just make it a common hip. Idiot.
Yeah, and how many times is your first instinct the right one?
Most of the time. But there, you get in your own head.
Second guess yourself.
You do. Yeah, that's funny. I'm having a hard time because I'm in a weird situation because I'm the customer too, as well as running this program. So it's my camper. And so I'm the customer of the school. I'll be paying the school for the work, and that's how a lot of the money will come in. I've got to design it beforehand in my mind.
Yeah.
So I can say on day one, here's the drawings, here's what we're going to do, and here's where the outlets are going to go, and this is where the cabinets are going to be, and all of that. And I can overthink that really easily. And I can show up with plans that the mechanics are going to say, this doesn't make any sense. This is dumb.
We'll tell you.
I know. But yeah, that's what you're counting on. That's the best relationship between like the homeowner, or architect, design team, however you want to call it, and the guys in the field. And if those guys who design it and are speccing it are open to feedback, that's the best relationship, best way of doing things, I think.
Yeah. Leads me into earlier I was talking about a really good architect that we done a lot of work for. It's like, as long as you follow what he had there, everything was going to work. Not everything, but enough of it was going to work that nothing was a problem that wasn't easily fixable. Whereas like with my projects at my house, I started getting too far ahead of myself from the beginning. And so when I actually started digging my foundation, and I was limited right then and there. And so the plan that I had in my head that I had sketched out on day one was scrapped. And so subsequently, every single next phase of my plan was forced to be scrapped because the very first iteration didn't work. Right. So if day one didn't work, it snowballs, none of it's going to work. Yeah. So it's like, for me now, I'm not an architect. So I don't really think that far out on the drawing. I can build the house in my head by looking at a foundation in the ground. But then there's all these little minor details that if you don't plan them out perfectly and execute on them, for instance, where your cabinets are going to go. Are you going to put the toilet against this wall? If the toilet can go over here, it's like, oh, I can't put the toilet there. I have to put it over here. So then everything is just gone.
Everything changes.
So it's like, do you plan the camper out right now and go all the way? Or do you get phase one complete and then plan phase two?
Yeah.
I think I would prefer to do it in, do phase one and then figure out phase two.
Yeah.
But phase one involves putting up the plywood on the walls, which means the wires have to be in the right place. And we've got both 12-volt wiring and 120-volt wiring. So we've got some things that'll be on the DC system and some that'll be on the AC system. And so all of those things have to be figured out before we put the plywood up. Because the idea of tearing out plywood later to rewire things, it reminds me too much of too many projects that we've done. And it's a lot harder to patch a piece of plywood than a piece of drywall. So that's why I feel like I really need to have a pretty good idea what the final product's going to be. Which is also funny because I've had this camper for a while. And a long time ago, I settled on basically following the floor plan that the original builders figured. And they put a lot of thought into that. So, okay, the floor plan's about the same. But the details of the cabinets, those things, had to think about. But I have had in my mind pretty much a vision of what it's going to look like for a while. But then when you go and get the pencil out and your little scale ruler and you got to fit the things in, oh shoot,
The math ain't mathin'.
the math ain't mathing. Exactly. Yeah.
Not to detract too much, but have you thought of doing like a more aviation style where you have your trunks of systems and then they're all behind trim panels? Like, for instance, you could do like right down the center lane, like an airplane, and then put your fancy cove light panel up there that you could pull down with magnets and then access everything later without ever touching its free gun. So there's the whole planning, and then like
Then the ability to change things later. Yeah.
if you over engineer and go super German with it, then everything just pops up and you can act that's it.
I think, again, following the people who have come before me.
Yeah.
Is they put a lot of thought into it. And they cover things up. Yeah, they put it in and cover it up, and there it is.
Sure. Command.
Yeah. The weirdest thing, though, is all the plumbing's inside. None of it's in the walls or floors or ceilings.
Freeze.
Because of freezing. Yeah. So the plumbing gets done after all the walls go up.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is funny. And yeah, I've got to find the light fixtures I'm going to use, because as you guys know, if you don't have the sconce when you're roughing it in, you don't actually know where the box needs to go. And if we don't have the heater panels and know exactly where they're going to go, we don't know where to stub the wire out. So having as much on site is another thing that I think will be super helpful. Got to buy that on-demand hot water heater, which they make cool. They run on 12 volt and propane, so they can be off grid.
Could put one of those in at my friend's camp up in Maine. There's no power, and they just did a little on-demand water heater attached to a battery.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had a running shower.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I think they also make like 12 volt water pumps too.
They do.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be using 12 volt water pump. You want as much of it to work on 12 volts as possible. And the 120 volt is a bonus if you got it. Well, I've always liked the challenge of those things. Have you guys ever worked on or thought about much about tiny houses on wheels?
Yeah, I have had some thoughts about that. So there's a whole community down in Harris. It's all tiny houses, but they're on stilts.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that's really cool. Something that you could build in a day.
Yeah,
That is cool. Like, that's pretty awesome.
I think it's really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more my wheelhouse for sure than a camper. I was just, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, cabins.
Yeah.
So I love working with wood. There's something like about cutting rafter tails. I don't know why, but I love it. It's like a release for me in a way.
Yeah.
So
The materials make a big difference. So two things about that. One is, so that's how I got from all of the different trades and thoughts about what my career was going to be. I just found out I liked working with wood more than metal, more than like wires. That's like my second choice. But I like wood.
yeah, I like the forgiveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can only mess it up so much.
Yeah.
The customization of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more customizable.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Yeah. And where we're going with this whole project is more to carpentry and construction. So carpentry maybe is the main focus of the school, but with that concept of mastering one, but being a jack of lots of things. A tiny house to me is the ideal learning
Mm-hmm.
because if you're going to build that, you're going to get exposed to every single trade and every single material. And having some experience gluing pipes together or making electric boxes or putting roofs on or all of those things just makes for a more well-rounded understanding of how things work.
I mean, my boy math was, I'm going to live in a box for the rest of my life. Might as well learn how boxes work.
Well, yeah. And that's ultimately, I think, where the biggest satisfaction comes, is being able to do stuff for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys where you want to do trade stuff, but I want to be more useful. I had to pay all these people to do stuff. I was a barista. Like, I feel so useless.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Most people are pretty much redundant.
Yeah.
They have their job and that's it.
Yeah,
It's the only thing they can do.
they just exist. Yeah. But when you can build something, you actually have purpose.
Yeah, I respect that. That's cool.
It really is. And how appreciated are you by our clients?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Think about how appreciated you are by people you know. How often does somebody ask you to help them fix something?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because sometimes when you're exhausted, you have no more blood sugar, and it's Saturday at 8 p.m., and you're like, oh, this sucks. But it is nice to be valued by most people.
Oh, yeah, there are moments.
Yeah. But reflecting back, it is good.
We can go out here and install these windows in 105-degree heat.
Yes. I've heard 2 podcasts in the last week that talk about the value of suffering.
Yeah. Especially if it's voluntary suffering.
Voluntary, really special. Yeah, it makes it a lot nicer, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's when you get some cool shit happening.
And it sucks when it's happening, though.
Yes.
Like a couple of weeks ago, I have a friend who runs a glass blowing studio, and his furnace went down, and they were trying to hook up a relay. And I got a call at 9:00 at night as I'm like getting ready to wind down. He's like, "We gotta get this furnace running. If we don't, the glass is going to solidify. And then it's this whole thing. You got to break the glass out and then refill it." I'm like, "All right, I'll be right there." Got over there, was there for like an hour. And it sucked when it happened because I was like really sad on just laying in bed. But afterwards, I'm driving home. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad. I'm really glad I helped them do that because they're super appreciative, and that's the thing. And I didn't charge them or anything. I don't charge them for anything I do at the glass blowing studio, just because a lot of that stuff I'm still learning myself. Or I'm like, this is cool. We're learning a new skill, but they Venmoed me some money. I'm like, dude, you didn't have to do that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's their thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gratification afterwards
Mhm.
it makes it all worth it.
It's something that's not said enough, I don't think, but they call this service work. And service is a concept. It's very deep. And to serve other people, to serve your community, to serve family, friends. It's that, well, Chris always puts it so well. He says it's always doing right by the other person. And doing all of those ideals we talked about, like the quality of work, the keeping your word, being safe, doing things that are going to last a long time.
Being trustworthy,
Reliable, clean, keeping the place organized and tidy, and thinking about the outcome 6 months from now, what this thing's going to look like. And then 10 years after we finish, that's all in service. And then the bonus is that you get satisfaction back.
Yeah, you guys are bigger than numbered party on it. I like helping. Waking up at 7 a.m. and have something to do, feeling good about it. It's awesome. Had so many old ladies send me home with garden cuttings and plants, and it feels so cool. Petting someone's dog.
Isn't that cool?
Right to see you.
Yeah, that's the coffee maker, I think, turning itself off. I think that's probably a good sign. I think that's a good way to wrap up. And I really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you too.
Yeah.